two men built the sound of a nation, Tuku and Mukanya. But only one can be called Zimbabwe's greatest ever. Stay to the end for the verdict. In 5 rounds, we break down their origins, their greatest songs, their courage, their global reach, and crown a legacy champion. This is the debate Zimbabwe deserves. One gave Zimbabwe its war cry, the other gave it its heart. Both are legends, but legends compete. And today, we find out who stands tallest. Round 1. Origins. Where did they come from? And how did each man forge a sound that had never existed before? Oliver Mtukudzi was born in 1952 in Harare. He grew up listening to mbira, gospel, and township jazz, and somehow wove them all into something entirely new. Thomas Mapfumo was born in 1945 in Marondera. He heard the ancient mbira, the voice of the ancestors, and decided it belonged on the electric stage. Nobody had dared before. Mtukudzi's early 1970s work with the wagon wheels and then the Black Spirits laid a foundation. His sound, raw, soulful, unmistakably Zimbabwean, was called Tuku music. It fit no other category. Mapfumo took mbira rhythms, translated them to electric guitar, and sang coded resistance against Rhodesian oppression. The people understood. The colonizers feared it. They banned him. Round 1? A draw. Tuku built something beautiful from within. Mapfumo built something dangerous from the same soil. But the next round belongs to one man alone. Round 2. Defining songs and albums. Which man created the works that will live forever? Todi asked Zimbabwe what to do in a crisis, and a nation wept together. Neria became the country's unofficial anthem for the grieving. Hear Me Lord transcended music. Tuku's catalogue was a mirror held up to life itself. Corruption in 1989 attacked Zimbabwe's government by name. Mamvemve became the soundtrack of resistance, and Nyoka Musango wove ancient Shona mythology into rock. Mapfumo's records were political weapons wrapped in melody. Round 2 goes to Mtukudzi. By the narrowest of margins, his catalogue reached more Zimbabweans, across more moments of their lives. But Mapfumo, he's coming, hard. Round 3, courage. Which man risked everything and changed Zimbabwe forever? When Mapfumo's music threatened the Mugabe government, he was jailed without charge. After his release, the pressure never stopped. So in 2000, he left Zimbabwe and went into exile in the United States. He never stopped singing the truth. Mtukudzi chose a different form of courage. He sang openly about HIV/AIDS when Zimbabwe was silent, about domestic violence, about grief. He refused to look away from the pain his people carried and gave them permission to heal. Round 3. And this time it is Mapfumo. Pure, defiant, self-sacrificing courage. He paid the highest price a man can pay for his art. The score is tied. Round 4. Global reach. Who carried Zimbabwe's name furthest? And who did the world listen to? Mtukudzi became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. He toured Europe, North America, Japan. The BBC called him one of Africa's most important voices. At every concert, he carried Zimbabwe on his back and made the world look. Mapfumo performed at WOMAD World Music Festivals alongside Peter Gabriel. His Chimurenga sound is now studied in universities across the globe. From Eugene, Oregon, his exile home, he still releases music that shakes walls. Round 4. Mtukudzi edges it. The UNICEF ambassadorship and a career built on bridges, not battles, gave him wider international reach. But this debate is not over, not even close. Round 5. Legacy. After everything, after the songs, the sacrifice, the stages, what do they leave behind? And what does Zimbabwe still carry today? On the 23rd of January 2019, Oliver Mtukudzi passed away, Zimbabwe stopped. A national day of mourning was declared. His music still plays in every home, every funeral, every celebration. Tuku never really left. Thomas Mapfumo, Mukanya, is still alive. Still in Eugene, Oregon. Still releasing music that challenges power. He is proof that a single voice, armed with truth, can outlast empires. Before we give the final verdict, you tell us, Tuku or Mukanya? Who is Zimbabwe's greatest ever? Drop your answer below right now, because this community is about to debate this for days. Our final verdict, and we need to be honest, this is opinion. History will make its own judgment, but based on reach, courage, catalogue, and enduring cultural weight, one man stands at the summit. In our view, Oliver Mtukudzi. Not because Mapfumo is lesser, he is not, but Tuku's music found everyone. The grandmother, the child, the exile, the grieving. He was Zimbabwe's mirror and its medicine. But Thomas Mapfumo, Mukanya is a colossus. A lion who chose exile over silence, the architect of Chimurenga. Africa will be telling his story for centuries. He needs no verdict to be great. Zimbabwe produced two of the greatest musicians the African continent has ever seen, in the same generation. That is not coincidence. That is a nation pouring its soul into sound.